Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me start by apologizing that we're having a bit of network issues there and there, but a lot of these issues will be resolved in a few seconds. My name is Shuai Bolawin. I'm one of the co-founders of MMC, and it has been an interesting journey so far. So without really wasting much of our time, I think we need to agree on some housekeeping. Please, all questions should be okay. Mutiat is there. So Mutiat, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go on with the house rules.
Yeah.
Don't let me be the Margaret Thatcher. You be the boss.
No, it's fine. And so I think we need to agree on some housekeeping. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop it in the chat box. It's somewhere there on the Zoom app. So if you can't locate it, just try and check the lower part of the app, either on your phone or your laptop. You should see like a chat and participant there. So then please, we don't expect anybody to switch on their videos or put on their mic, so that at least we can have this session with little or no hindrance at all. Then one last thing, I think if you have some things that you like to share and you don't want everybody to equally see it on the chat, don't hesitate to private chat someone. Don't hesitate to private chat Mutiat by going to the chat, select Mutiat's name and send a message to her privately. So let me hand the session over to Mutiat to start. Mutiat, over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Hi, everyone. Wassalatu wassalam ala rasulullah mabak. Hello, everyone. My name is Mutiat Olagoke. I particularly said Olagoke in capital letters because I get called Adegoke lots of times, and it is not funny anymore. So my name is Mutiat Olagoke, and mashallah, alhamdulillah, I'm going to be the one moderating today's session. Basically, I'm just here to sit pretty and have all the speakers and the panel share with us sense that hopefully will make all of us awesome. Thank you, Brother Ibrahim Aliu, for that. So today's career talk is themed, how possible is it to get a job during a crisis? And we must already know, without overflogging the matter, that we have a crisis at hand with the coronavirus pandemic, and also definitely with a lot of, with the news, with lots of the people that have lost their jobs. Definitely we have an unemployment crisis brewing, or it has already brewed. It's already here. So there's a crisis going on, there's a pandemic everywhere. A lot of people globally have lost their jobs. And then Nigeria is peculiar because there weren't enough jobs in the first place. And then Rona, like Americans like to call it, has brought upon us something big, and I've had it to definitely had it to the problems at hand. So today we've gotten 4 of the best brains across different sectors to come talk to us about how is it possible to get a job in this, we don't even know what to call it. They call it the new normal. How do you get a job in a crisis, in this new normal that's brought upon us so much that we were never in our imagination, never, ever were planning or we're going to be ready for it. So today on our panel, we have with us Sophia Abiodun Peters, who's a recruitment specialist at Matoy Group. And then our very own Oga at the top, Mr. Sikiru Salami, who's the Chief Financial Officer for, I don't know how to pronounce the word, I usually just pronounce it in my head, IL Bagnor. And then Mr. Razak Kadiri, who is the Compliance Manager at MTN Nigeria. And the jump man himself is with us today. Fuad Lawal is the editor-in-chief of zcoco.com. And you would see that we have different people across board who would talk to us about how is it possible to get a job, or for some of us, how to keep the job or probably get a promotion in a crisis. So I would like to ask everyone on the panel to please turn their phone camera to landscape mode because we're streaming on YouTube. And if you have your camera on portrait, the picture won't configure properly. So please put all panels, Mr. Sophia, Mr. Salami, Mr. Kadri, Mr. Lawal, please have your camera in landscape mode so that it can fit with our live streaming on YouTube. Okay, so Stripe, are all the panels here?
Yeah, they are here. They are here.
Okay, may we start? So I will start with the introduction of each of them using their profiles. I believe I have most people's profile with me. And we're starting with Ms. Peters. She is, Sophia Abiodun Peter is an HR professional with Matei Group, one of Nigeria's top leading HR consulting firms. She's a writer, a TEDx speaker, spoken words performer, and communication and branding enthusiast. She's very passionate about creating solutions to human-related problems in Nigeria and the world at large. Safi, as fondly called, holds a bachelor's degree in economics from the prestigious University of Lagos, Nigeria. She has over 4 years experience managing projects cutting across human capital development, innovation, youth empowerment, and the sustainable development goals. Sophia aims at improving the productivity of non-profit and for-profit organizations through strategy and organizational designs. She believes in the core essence of leadership and leadership, creativity, and innovation as integral cues to Africa's emerging challenges. Welcome, Sister Sophia. Where is she?
Right here. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you put
yes,
on your...
Yes,
sure. Is your video on?
I'm putting it on right now. Okay.
Great. So. Good to see you.
Same here. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Nice to be here.
You're welcome. We're honored to have you. Thank you so much. The next person is Mr. Sikiru Salami. Sikiru Salami is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of Nigeria. He holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in accounting from the University of Ilorin and a Master of Risk Management from the University of Lagos. Sikiru is an accomplished professional with experience in financial reporting, capital raising, oil trading, Basel II implementation, enterprise risk management, and strategic financial management. He worked previously as the financial controller at Imperial Home Mortgage Bank and the head finance and accounts at Zone 4 Energy Limited. He's currently the chief financial officer with Black Pelican Group. I believe that Sikiru is a co-founder of Muslim Mentorship Connect and is our Oga. And we also have with us Mr. Sikiru. Assalamu alaikum. But today, since I'm the moderator of the masterclass, I'm your Oga today, at least for the next 1 hour or so. Is Mr. Sikiru with us? Mr. Salami, are you here?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam. Good to see you, sir. Welcome. Okay, and then we have with us Mr. Razak. Mr. Razak is an astute regulatory compliance professional with proven achievement working within various sectors, banking, telecommunications, and payment system. With over 12 years experience, he brings on board quality knowledge of anti-money laundering and counter-financial or terrorism, corporate governance, anti-bribery and corruption, internal control, and other core areas of a robust compliance program. Razak is currently the compliance manager, mobile financial services, and AML CFT at MTN Nigeria. Prior to this, he was unit head, regulatory compliance at Union Bank of Nigeria PLC, head compliance at InterSwitch Group, AML CFT compliance lead at Stanbic IBTC Bank, and served in 2 different capacities as a regulatory compliance officer and internal control officer at Unity Bank PLC. Wow. He's an alumnus of the prestigious University of Ilorin, because I only hear prestigious when you're talking about Unilag. So on behalf of all the Ilorin people, Mr. Razak is an alumnus of the prestigious University of Ilorin. He has a bachelor's degree in industrial chemistry, certified anti-money laundering specialist awarded by the prestigious Association of Certified Anti-Money Laundering Specialists, United States. A Microsoft certified technology specialist. He has Cisco certified network association. He also has certificate with the Associate Chartered Institute of Finance and Control, Lean Six Sigma Green, and Yellow Belt holder. Wow. He has a postgraduate certificate in counterterrorism from London Metropolitan University, and currently studying for master's degree in counterterrorism at the Liverpool John Moores University. Razak is passionate about combating the menace of financial crimes, money laundering, terrorism financing, and has consciously worked towards promoting a decent career along this line. MashaAllah. So yeah, one coming to arrest all these. So nothing about, we've got an assassin here. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Razak. Where is he? We're so honored to have you with us. And the last person is Fuad Lawal. They did not send your profile to me. And I know that it is a conspiracy to be forming humble. Where are you? Where is your face? At least you're going to show us your face. All speakers must be on video. All panelists. Fuad doesn't, somebody said Fuad doesn't need an introduction. Well, I would say that we're having a lot of people that may, of course, that's going to be quite odd, but there may be people here who've never met Fuad before. So would say, but Fuad is the editor-in-chief of Zikoko.com, and he loves to travel. I know that, and it's fun. I can add anything from this point onward, and you can't deny it. So it's best if you send your own profile. So where's Fuad? Please welcome Mr. Fuad Lawal. Aziz, we can, Fuad, please come, put on your camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know I was supposed to unmute. Sorry, someone.
Oh, you have. So you didn't send your profile, and then you want to form incognito.
I was not aware that I had to send a profile, and then I'm not going to borrow from everybody's profile. I also studied industrial chemistry.
You went to university.
I can't remember the university I went to. I actually can't, because it has not mattered since I left that place.
Well, the same for most people on the list. It hasn't mattered. But then we want to know what you were doing for that 4 years. You could be in Dubai.
I was studying industrial chemistry. That's what I was asking about Gibbs free energy. And Schrödinger's equation. All those ridiculous things.
I don't even have an idea what you're talking about. So we're just going to go.
Industrial chemistry is what I'm talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about either.
I said the industrial chemistry knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, you did industrial chemistry? Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I've spent most of my active working years working in media, different capacities, scamming my way through. I like to mention that I scammed my way through because I saw a HR person and I'm like, my secret is about to expose, right? So
don't worry.
So yeah, like I just wing things for a living. Like it's like, you know how we say nothing we did. So yeah, I say we did for a living, basically.
You stay with what?
We did.
That's what you do for a living. Wow.
So yeah, I mean, like, so I think that has been most of it for me. I think the summary of it is just, oh yes, I worked in media in various capacities. And yeah, I currently work at Big Kabami. Hi Latifa. So I currently work at Big Kabami Media, head of content for a couple of publications and products. We have Zikoko, which is mostly youth culture. We have Tekabal, which is technology, obviously. And we have Cabal Creative, which is like client services. And so that means I'm mostly working with brands and trying to convince them that an ad doesn't have to be great because someone is shaking bum inside. So yeah,
And now I start being in this pandemic era.
Oh yeah, so in the pandemic, let me start by saying that the worst possible place to be in the pandemic is in a media company, and I'll explain. So media businesses are mostly powered by advertising revenue, right? You have an audience, and brand wants to reach that audience, right? So they give you money to advertise with you, and in the middle of a pandemic, everybody is cutting budgets and cutting budgets. You're not obsessed about
buying
your audience.
essential goods.
Exactly. You're more concerned about locking, like securing your bases and like entering siege mode. That means that a lot of taps got closed, a lot of people got laid off. So on our team, when we're trying to make a decision around what to do with layoffs, we're like, oh, if we lay people off, the remaining people left behind are going to be. I'm just going to constantly feel like God. When is going to my turn to get laid off? Oh God, when is my? Will I get an email? So we implemented these horrible pay cuts across the entire team. I was so angry. I was so irritated when my salary entered that I threw everything inside like some stocks. I'm like, you know what? If it's not die inside the stocks, I like. In fact, I was actually after I poured everything in stocks, I realized that oh wait, I really do not have money to buy stuff for the rest of the month. So,
Okay,
yeah.
now you make me feel bad because even when there's a salary cut for my staff, and when I paid every month, I go like, what am I doing? Is this but then I'm like, to be realistic, I can't be. That's what we got to do. We have to do what we have to do, at least to ride the pandemic.
I mean, the
So
good
I
thing
understand.
about it is that the good thing about it is that everybody felt like okay, yeah, we're in this together because we didn't lay anybody off, right? And we just weathered this storm together. And for the time being, there seems to be some respite. The respite is that everybody's pretending that everything is fine. So we're also pretending with them, and so yeah.
Eventually, the pretending will be normal. So I want you to hold off there, so that because you're already speaking some of our realities now. So I want to go to Sister Safiat. Safiat. So the question, picking it up from where Fuad started with work and how they are trying not to lay off anyone, cutting costs and doing whatever they can do to stay afloat in this new normal. Walaikum salam. Can you hear me?
I don't believe that this guy has not left Nigeria.
I can hear you, but we can hear so many voices.
Please, can they mute all the other people? Thank you. Please come in, mute. Everyone should please mute themselves. Okay, thank you. So Sophia, the question now is that except for obvious sectors like healthcare and telecoms, it's widely reported that most sectors will lay off staff. Some people have already done it. Salary slash everywhere, even those, particularly those of us that are small businesses. So could you please share with us insight on what the volume of the recruitment activities looks like now compared to before COVID? Because we know the percentage of unemployment. How is it now?
Okay, so recently, not recently, before the coronavirus pandemic, in my company, we used to hire across, I used to hire across a lot of sectors, talking about FMCG, telecoms, energy sector, financial sector, hospitality, name it, right? And we would recruit across the country. So we're talking Kano, Kaduna, Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, all of the, probably almost all the states across the country. And the volume as well. Sometimes we'll do like, because a lot of times clients they're working on new projects, or they need new hands, or they need to replace someone. We're talking about recruiting maybe close to 100 in a week, sometimes more. It used to be that crazy. That was before the pandemic.
Wow.
Then, after the pandemic, after we all resumed, because I go to work now. I do like 1 week off, like 1 week work from home and 1 week work at the office, right? So in the past month and this month, we've been doing more recruitment across the tech sector, right? So you find that there are a lot of requests for 80% of our requests, or even 85% of the requests are for tech guys, right? IT engineer, there's a lot of very technical job roles that we recruit for these days. So apart from that, we have, I think just recently we started hiring across what's the word now, say sales, because now people need people to go out there and try to boost the business and all of that, keep it back on the feet. So we're looking at, we're now hiring more salespeople. So salespeople are in more demand right now, for a lot of companies. So yeah, but I think that over time, all of these other roles would bounce back, but maybe not in the volume that we had it before, right? Maybe not in the hundreds. Maybe someone could decide to hire 2 people instead of 8, right? And just like anybody who is working right now, anybody who is currently working right now would know in a lot of firms where people were not laid off, right? You have people doing, taking up more responsibility. So you're no longer doing exactly or just what you were doing in your JD before the pandemic. So the pandemic has come with a lot of problems to solve, and you have to be part of the team that would put that, that would bring that solution to life, or come up with ideas and innovative minds and all of that. So recruitment is still ongoing. In fact, in my company, I think we're having like new intakes for next month. Yeah. So the point is, people are losing their jobs, people are getting pay cuts, but people are getting jobs. And I know someone personally who got a job, during the pandemic about a month or 2 ago. So people are getting jobs. Thank you.
Okay, that is a relief. I really thought that you were going to bring something that made me go, what kind of life is this? It is a relief to hear that people are actually getting jobs and companies are recruiting despite all the challenges around. So you've said they were looking for more people in IT and then more people in sales.
Majorly.
So yeah, majorly. Okay, so I'm noting that, because I'm wondering, does it mean that somebody who's in other sector can cross over quickly just to?
Okay. So what I would say is, because, there's this thing, a lot of companies are re-strategizing, right? Are looking at diversifying. So you as an individual, you might need to do that as well, right? So some jobs have been rendered irrelevant because of the coronavirus and all of that. What can you do? Which relevant space can you place yourself, right? I know that the customer service. Everybody wants to do. When I put out adverts for customer service roles, I get thousands and thousands. I put out a job ad last month for the role of a front desk and admin person. I am still getting entries. One came in while we were having this meeting, right? So there's some roles that you can fit yourself into. You could start to build skills around, because if you just sit down and you say, this is what I do, what if what you do is not going to be relevant in the next 2-3 years? What if it's not even relevant right now? What are you going to do? So just like companies are, looking at how to re-strategize and say, you know what, this is a product we had, but because of the coronavirus pandemic, this product is not going to work anymore. People are no longer spending money on this. How can we diversify? So I saw this spray, sanitizer, whatever, that I think.
Oh, that's what I was just thinking. Like 7-Up went from selling that to that.
Sanitizer, and people are buying.
And I thought it was smart.
Every supermarket you go into, you find that thing, and then how much is it? And people are buying it.
It's really, really smart.
Exactly. So they've identified the need to introduce a new product or service, and then they go for it. And
exactly,
people, even you as an individual, now have to reanalyze your skills and say, okay, you know what? If I can't do this right now because it's not selling, people are not spending money on it right now, what can I do? Right? And then you become a problem solver, really. And that's the key. Right now, the world is more in need of problem solvers. What problems can you solve right now?
What problems can you solve? Thank you so much for that. So we move on to Mr. Razak. In the name of becoming problem solvers and trying to look for job and staying afloat. So Sophia mentioned something about how we're re-strategizing. So for someone like me that majorly, the pandemic made it very obvious that most of my work, a bulk of our income was coming from working with schools. And then schools were closed and we had no choice. And I know that, okay, for about a couple of weeks, I was ill. I didn't know what to do. But then you come to the realization that the show must go on, and the show went from going to school to coming online. And that's where you come in. Since the lockdown, a lot of Nigerians have increased their data subscription and consumption by 100%. Now, this statistics was given to me by the producer of this. My own is more than 100%. Like, we're looking at 300% data consumption because now school is online, work is online, sales is online. Like, literally, practically everything is online. I think the only thing offline for somebody like me is production. So we still do some production, but everything is online. So it means that more data for us. So what does it mean that your industry is booming? Like, this is the best, unlike the rest of us, people in education, for instance. This is a terrible time for us. But it seems like MTN and everybody in the telecom are like smiling and grateful for the pandemic. Or is that an assumption?
Well, I'm happy you used the word it seems. So that means it could be an assumption.
Well, I must be careful.
Okay, yeah. Oftentimes when I want to speak, people just like shut me down to say, "See, don't even tell us anything. You guys are doing well." But and I hope I'm not going to be picked up on that as well here on this.
No, don't worry. You're safe.
Okay, so a lot of people, okay, well, I agree with the fact that data subscription has increased. Whether it's 100%, I don't know. So that is your statistics. But I agree with the fact that data revenue for telcos has really improved. But the truth is, it is not all rosy as people think. That is the truth. Apart from data, there are some other revenue streams that telcos have. So such as, I give you an example, voice is another revenue stream. And has been significantly impacted, by this COVID. So the voice revenue has dropped significantly. So another business line is the enterprise business, for example. So when I say enterprise business, I mean, we have companies like maybe the multinationals and some other companies who needs to stay connected. You know, you have companies subscribing for CUG services, you have companies subscribing for internet connectivity services. So most of these companies have come back to us to say that, see, with this COVID, we cannot even work. So it doesn't make sense for me as a company to continue to pay this amount of money because, you know, I have to scale down my operation. So some of them have come back to us to either renegotiate the service offering, or some have even put it on hold completely. So the enterprise business revenue has also significantly been impacted. So same for every other revenue stream. So I can tell you specifically that apart from data revenue that's, you know, has increased, every other revenue stream has been severely impacted. So by the time you net this off, so you will see that it's not as rosy as people think. I wish we can just transfer 100% of data to other revenue streams. In fact, maybe by now, already earning, maybe we'll be earning 300% of now. But it is honestly not. It is honestly not so.
Oh, okay. So are you saying that? So are you saying that data doesn't? Is all the other ones make more money for you than data?
Well, I think when you say make more money is relative, really. But all I know is that the entire bottom line is not as bad for the communications companies, but really revenue has significantly, yes. And when I say significantly reduced, yeah, it has, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so for you personally as a compliance person, what are the things that COVID-19 has brought upon your own job? What are the challenges that have come along because of this pandemic?
Okay, well, this COVID, even starting a personal note, it's as if my job load or my JD has been doubled or tripled. Yeah, before when we were office, you know, by 4:30, I just sign out of the office and I may not even get to attend to any officials again. But these days, because we are working from home, I find myself working almost around the clock. Sometimes 10 p.m. I am still stuck, you know, on my system working, really. And it's not that maybe I have left maybe the whole day not working. But one of the key challenges, you know, generally as a compliance professional, people don't like us. Or let me say, you people don't like us. So because your job is, I'm confused. Because our job basically is to try to avoid people taking shortcuts, or avoid people you know, from prevent them from doing the wrong.
I don't think that people that don't like you will be Yahoo people. We don't mind you.
You know, when you talk about compliance is multifaceted. So from an organizational perspective, yeah, you're also talking of compliance with military processes or compliance with regulations. And sometimes, you know, regulated telecom in Nigeria, they might come up with a regulation that obviously we know is going to impact business. Maybe it will increase customers and a lot of people through some hassle before they want to things done. So generally, this will not come as a good news to the business people. And compliance, they just want to ensure that they are not flattening regulation. So it's always a talk of war between us and the operators to say, you know, why you are saying you are because you have a target to deliver some revenue figures. We also have a target to prevent the business from folding up. Because just a single penalty can shake the whole company, and the company can never get back to its feet. So our own primary responsibility is to ensure that, yes, we are doing.
Okay. Have I lost him? We lost him, I think. Okay, Mr. Sikiru, are you still here, Mr. Razak? Okay, thank you. Okay, so
can you hear me now?
Mr. Sikiru.
Yeah, my network went off for a
yes,
while.
I can. Yes, is it not your MTN network? You can see what we have been going through.
You sure I'm using MTN?
Challenges. So it's not MTN. I hope your guy at the bottom are listening. You know? Okay, so thank you so much for that. You've definitely, because I'm thinking, I thought that when Ms. Peters was saying that we are getting more IT engineers and more tech people, I just thought that they'll probably come from the telecoms. But with what you've said about bottom line, maybe next time we'll be kind to your network when we're thinking of all the issues that we are dealing with. So, Mr. Secretary, you're next. The COVID story, from your perspective as the Chief Financial Officer of, like, for instance, I know my challenge as a small business person, and sometimes I think that all of us, whether the big scale business, whether the multinationals, we're all sort of like in the same boat. I like to think that, but maybe I'm just dulling myself. How has this pandemic affected your company and recruitment and the staff strength and all of that, so that I will know that it's a lie, that I'm just lying to myself? You people are fine. This is not affecting you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to our people. Speaking of the impact of COVID-19 on our business, but typically it's affecting everyone, whether we want to agree to that or not. Even the lockdown, as it were, frankly, some companies are still on lockdown. So you can imagine that impact on the economic activities in the country. And before coming back to tell you how it's affecting my business, we all agree that this pandemic has impacted job market a whole lot. In the US, for example, over 30 million jobs have been lost. And in spite of that, some people are getting jobs, like the HR speaker said. And I'm privy to a couple of people that have contacted me while they were trying to get a job. Yet in the middle of the pandemic, all the interviews, the entire recruitment process took place over Zoom or Microsoft Teams. So yes, a lot of people lost their jobs, and I can assure you a lot of people are also getting jobs. It's just about the industry. And the pandemic itself, concerning my company, for example, the success of my company typically depends on the number of construction projects going on, because we essentially deal in sanitary, bedroom doors, kitchens, and all such other things. So the more projects ongoing, the more sales we tend to make. So, and you can agree with me that some of the big projects you see around are possibly currently on hold. Some of them are working not as before. But nonetheless, we found a way to survive. And maybe we are not making money as we used to make, but we're making money. And frankly, in the middle of this so-called pandemic, we've just, I actually project managed the implementation of SAP Business by Design. And in fact, we did a launching yesterday in spite of pandemic. So to tell you that most of the consultants I was meant to be working with were practically working with. So we never even had the opportunity to meet physically and we get it done right online. I mean, just speaking to ourselves online. All the implementation were done without having to meet ourselves physically. And I'm even in the middle of an audit, and we're doing the whole audit practically online. We're just speaking to ourselves. So just to tell you that, yes, the pandemic has disrupted our life as we knew it, right? But life goes on. We found a way to survive it, and we're dealing with it. So everyone calls it is a new normal. McKinsey guys are saying, hey, we call it next normal. And I tend to agree with them, because the life as we used to have it will likely never be the same again. So it's more like we're getting into the next phase in our life, more like they call it next normal. And I agree. So the truth of the matter is, personally, I've had to deal with crisis all through my career.
Should I please mute everyone on entry? Everyone on entry.
Okay, so I'm going to share a screen to encapsulate what I have learned in dealing with crisis. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. What I share there is what typically. Can they help me screen? Can they please mute that fellow? Okay. So you can see my screen. What you see there is how I think we all should deal with this crisis. Because typically in times of crisis, whether pandemic or financial crisis, there's something I want us to, is a time of desperation for a lot of people. It's a time of emotional breakdown because there seem to be no opportunities around and hopelessness you see all around people. Take, for example, this is not the best time to lose a job, right? This crisis is not the best time to lose a job because to the best of my knowledge, some companies are actually placing embargo on recruitment. In my company, for example, as a CFO, that's my recommendation, frankly. I'm here to cut costs. If revenue is not coming in as it used to be, the next thing you want to think around is, okay, what are some of the discretionary costs I can play with? What are some of the costs I can completely avoid? So take, for example, we no longer do physical training. We no longer pay for that. So any training now is done on Coursera. I don't need your certificate. Just do the course. Give me evidence that you've done it. You know, that automatically takes out training and development costs. The unfortunate part is that the other guy on that side who is meant to make money from me through training is not making money. So his business is deeply impacted. So why I said this is a time to ditch the desperation and lead with purpose is because when your industry is deeply impacted and there seems to be hopelessness, you need to think beyond the limitation imposed on you. You need to think out of the box and consider options. Because as some industries are badly impacted, some other industries are benefiting. So you might begin to think of diversifying. Let me give you an example. I left the capital market not necessarily because of the salary. I left the capital market because I once worked in the capital market. I once worked with a stockbroking firm, and that was shortly after the financial crisis of 2008. So I left the capital market because when I saw that the market doesn't seem to be coming back as it used to be, I left for an entirely different industry, which is a mortgage bank. So when you are in an industry that there seems to be hopelessness, it is not out of place to do your own hijra to another industry where there's stability. So people need to consider options. When everything is not working, it's not the time to be desperate. It's not the time to just give up. It's a time for soul searching. It's a time to live by a purpose. You need to redefine your purpose. But we'll come to that as we move on in this discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So Fuad, we're back to you, and you would your introduction. Okay, Mr. Security, you are still sharing screen?
Yes, I will remove it.
Okay, so Fuad, we're back to you. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so your sector, and I like to say our sector is the new, they say the new oil industry that everybody wants to work in. There are quite a lot of jobless people.
They're ready to scam us, so I won't come and take their own money.
They're just scamming us. They want us to share this job that's not enough for all of us. Okay, so basically, yeah, they say information is the new oil, data is the new oil, content is the new oil. and there are a lot of jobless people and those who have lost significant part of their salaries. They want to become digital marketers. They want to become content strategists, graphic designers. They literally just want the two of us to be jobless, or maybe just me. You will probably still have a job. And there are really opportunities in these areas now, particularly now. And one of the things that really struck for me when Ms. Peters was talking was how she said sales is now on the go. So when she says sales, I'm thinking content marketing, content strategy, sales. You know, I just divided sales into a lot of things. Are there really opportunities, or we're just dulling ourselves?
Okay, so
and then they said that you also had are certificates relevant, considering that a lot of undergraduates are idle and most people are stranded.
So interestingly, I was about to finish this part before, like, I think you passed on to Sophie. So I just finished hiring about 6 people. Yeah, I'm sending out their offer letters. My emails are scheduled for their offer letters, for their welcome emails to go out Monday morning. Right? Yes, yes. I can hear you crying. Okay, yeah, Ibrahim is muted.
Oh, please continue.
Okay, yeah. So, one of the people I hired is a 19-year. She's 19, and I especially remember her age and the call we had over Google Meet, because she kept talking about how I was old. I'm not even 30, right? So I think one thing is super important. A lot of like what happens in our space, in the creative industry at large, is mostly driven by skill sets, right? What skill sets do you have? How can you leverage the skill sets? If you are very persuasive, yes, you should probably take a course in sales, right? If you are a good writer, you should probably pitch some of your stuff to people who require writers, right? If you are a designer, you should pitch your stuff to people who need designers. And I always say is that if you're going to pick up any skills over the next 1 or 2 years, you should pick skills that are in global demand, right? Skills that are not exactly bound by geography. An interesting example is Google just started this. Google is about to destroy tertiary education. Like I've waited for that for my whole life. And what's Google doing? They are offering courses, first of all, in America. There are courses in data analytics, project management, UX, and a bunch of other things. And basically, it's like the courses will be taught by employees of Google, right? And you start to ask yourself, what is the point of going to a university to learn data analytics? Because for Google, it's a 6-month course, but it's going to count with them as it's not even Google Digital Skills. Google Digital Skills is very different. What I'm talking about is stuff that they just made public like this past week, right? Google is saying with this program that they're starting now that if you take their courses, it is equivalent to a degree, to a first degree. Like Google will treat it as a first degree. And Google is one of the largest employers it's one of the most valuable companies in the world. If one of the most valuable companies in the world is choosing skills and enthusiasm over your degree, then you should probably keep that in mind, because I mean there are industries and areas where certificates will always be important. Like I want the person that Ibrahim Abdurazak, welcome back.
I think that I may have to ban him out of this class, because at this rate, we're not going to finish this class. I keep muting and muting him.
And he's like, nope, I will not be silenced.
I don't understand. I just threw him out of class, so you may continue.
Yeah. Okay, so I can't believe someone has been thrown out of class and I'm in class. Interesting topic, yeah.
Mr. Fuad, you can continue. I think our line to be messing up.
So, more than anything, I think that it is very important as people are acquiring new skills to just optimize for
Really, that is the new normal. So, well, what you say, communication.
MTN people. Where are they?
They are still here.
This is not MTN.
Okay, somebody said that it was because I threw Mr. Abdulrazak out. Yes. His village people are stronger than my own, apparently. Okay, so this is supposed to be an interactive session. We've done the first part where the speakers will give us their own point of view about COVID and how it's affecting jobs. So it is now up to you, participants. What are the questions that you have? What are the challenges you're facing in whatever industry that it is? In a way, all of us are in this together. So it's time for you. We're passing the microphone over to the audience. Please drop your question in the chat.
Okay.
What did you say?
I was saying, I thought you said, I was saying that maybe they're typing their questions, right? Everybody's typing questions.
Please, so Abel, Mr. Abdulrazak, do you want me to throw out of class? Let everybody type their question. At this rate, everyone will put on their mic and then they won't remember that they were supposed to ask questions. Really. It would be nice to have people actually talk, but we are still mastering the use of Zoom. Okay, so Mr. Dede Gadetunji, are you raising your hand or is the network? So I'm about to.
I'm raising up my hand.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So your question is.
Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now, Jazakumullah khairan to the speakers so far. It was a really nice one and an eye opener now to the reality of what COVID-19 has actually brought us to. I'm an anatomist and I presently work as an education expert. I work with a university presently. But the truth is this COVID-19 has come to affect every sector, even up to those areas that we think is not affected. Now, somebody like me now, who is presently an health person, I've already started having a projection of the need for me as a person to diversify and think of options to which I could narrow my expertise to. But however, one of those areas, yes, that everybody knows, yes, like our moderator said, is the oil company of the future, is the IT versus the tech world. Now, somebody like me, it means that starting from the scratch is the only option I have if one is going to diversify and enter into the IT versus the tech world. Now, my question is this. Do you think it is really obtainable that one starts learning IT skills from the scratch using an online means to achieve that? Is it really possible? Is it obtainable?
Okay, so who do we throw the question to? Fuad or Safi? Would you take that?
I'd like to answer that question, please.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing, right? I have a story, basically. I have a friend, he studied anatomy, and in 2017, he made up his mind and said that he was done, it was not working out. Maybe he didn't like anatomy as much as he thought he did. And he picked up design. He started designing. And like between 2017 and now, he has worked for at least 3 of the most interesting startups in the tech space. Like he has been designing for 3 years, and he earns over 600K a month. So the interesting thing about optimizing for skills that are in global demand is that you don't even have to be just bound by the circumstances of Lagos, right? Something interesting is going to happen in the US over the next 2 years. Even when the pandemic goes, it's going to affect the economy for at least 2 years, right? When it happened in 1918, there were food shortages across a lot of the world for the next 2 to 3 years because productivity generally drops, right? And what's going to happen is that people with the largest spending power, that's the US especially, are going to have to cut down on their spending, and they're going to seek cheaper labor elsewhere, right? Right now, the cheaper labor is going to most likely going to go to India, right? India is an interesting example because they have a lot of engineers and devs, and so I read a series called Naira Life, and I spoke to a dev last year that works for a company in India and earns 2K USD minus his 600K Nigerian salary. Like people make a shit. I have people that have worked for me in the past, like on my team, that they write for very, very tiny websites across the internet. I do not have the strength and the time to engage in a lot of tiny things, but they do. And because of that, I know one of them that earns well over like 2.5 USD in a month. Like I saw and like I said, it's very important to think about it around skills that are in global demand. You want to just research, take your time and research what are the skills that are in global demand and chase those things, right? I don't even believe
Okay, that's the question that somebody's asking. What are the list of jobs of the future that are in global demand? I would recommend that the person go to check what the Economic Forum, they usually have an annual list and stuff, because we have a lot of questions and to go into each of them.
Yeah, the first skill, right, to survive, the first skill is research. Like everything is ridiculous how much we have on Google.
Ridiculous, and it's more ridiculous how when people come to ask, I'm wondering, wait, I'm confused. We all have the same.
It's fine to ask. But it's like I really appreciate them people ask questions, right? But it's like there's just so much that can be found on Google.
If there's anything you take away, it means that you need to do a lot of research. You can't just sit there and wait for the world to happen to you. You need to find out what's going on and where the world is going. May Allah ease it for us. Mr. Razak, this question I'm throwing at you, and it says, is Mr. Razak still there with us?
Samutia.
Yeah?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. That question, I quickly want to just contribute just a few seconds.
Could you please hold it for Mr. Razak to pick it? Okay. You can do it 2 minutes. I'm timing you.
Okay. Just seconds. It's with regards to the brother that asked of, can you start a new skill? How long would it take to learn a new skill? I can tell you for free. Let me tell you this story. This job I got, I didn't used to be very sound in financial modeling. So I didn't pay a dime to learn it. It's one of the key skills that got me this job over a year ago. I learned financial modeling solely on YouTube. I don't know what people do go there to do. I don't know what other things. In my head, YouTube is only meant for learning. So
because some of us are watching late night shows.
Exactly. So I don't know what. So
thank you. The table has been broken. Thank you.
The point I'm making is you can learn any skill within 6 months, any skill whatsoever, and you can learn some of these skills for free. So the most important thing is identifying the areas like my brother Fuad mentioned, the areas where the markets need, what skills the market need. Once you identify the market need in terms of skill requirement, you can learn anything for free online. So the most important thing is, where do I learn it? So I've just told you, I learned financial modeling all on YouTube. I was just looking for different courses here and there, completely on YouTube, and I'm better for it today. I didn't pay a dime to anyone. So you can also learn any skill whatsoever on YouTube. There were people that were self-trained. They turned out to be some of the biggest startup founders around us. A lot of stories. So you can learn any skill whatsoever within 6 months. Just be purposeful about it. Just be disciplined. Because it takes a lot of discipline. Be online and not be distracted. A lot of discipline is required.
Because particularly, I must mention that a number of us Nigerian parents has been the challenge of learning online for many people. It's not even just parents alone. The sector is micromanaging. So learning on your own is difficult for a lot of people, and like Mr. Sam, discipline. So Mr. Razak, I'm back to you. And talking of learning, somebody is asking, are we really ready for relevant future jobs as Nigerians, considering our educational system? And I'm asking you particularly because your compliance job and all of that seems oddly so un-Nigerian to be an expert in that.
Okay, can you hear me? I'm
yes,
unable to put my video.
Oh, you didn't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I get the question. So, but I'm unable to put my video. So you pardon me if you're not seeing my face for now.
No problem, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so the question is,
He's muted. Hope he's aware.
Yourself.
hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I don't know why. I thought maybe the host had me muted.
Oh, okay. No, you have not done anything to me. Mr. Bayomi, could you please hold on? When Mr. Razak is done with the question, you can ask your question.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
And please, make it very short as possible.
Okay, I'll try and that.
Okay,
sorry, Mutia, can you please repeat the question?
So the question is, given the educational sector, the educational structure in Nigeria, are we really ready for the jobs of the future? And I would think that the person would probably want to know the way out, if not.
Okay, well, I think for me, I personally think learning is a thing of the mind. That is number one. And number two, learning is, I think it is personalized. For me, I don't think it is a system kind of thing. Why am I saying that? So we can as well say, okay, for Nigeria today, you know, our reality is, you know, when some of us went to primary and secondary schools, the standard then was still very, very good. I mean, you know, if you attended a public primary or a public secondary school. So, but today, what you will find is that the standard has really gone down to the fact that most of us cannot even afford to send our children to the same public schools that we attended during our time that actually gave true value. So for me, I think learning is a personal thing. It all depends on if you are willing to learn. That is number one. So learning is a deliberate thing. You have to be deliberate about it. You need to be very clear on what exactly do I want to learn? What exactly are the skill sets that I am willing to acquire? So you need to set a very clear goals. So once your goals are clear, then you can begin to make specific plans towards actualizing, you know, those goals. And learning now is something that is very easy. So learning has no borders nowadays. We have a lot of, even prior to COVID-19, we have a lot of degrees and certification programs that you can run, you know, entirely online for the entire course duration. So, and now for the, because of this COVID-19, I think even a lot of economies, a lot of schools have woken up to the reality that I think if we can actually do it in class, we can do it online. So even those that actually started their educations by going to classes, they had to complete it online, and you see a lot of people graduating. So for me, I think learning is personalized, and it depends on what you want to achieve. So personally, for me, if you are determined and you have specific plans, I think it's something that is achievable. I don't think it's a function of our educational system. That is my
Okay,
opinion.
so somebody, one of your colleagues who works with the commercial bank is asking what professional courses should he enroll in as a compliance person? Okay. He's a compliance and internal control officer.
Okay, I think I have a very straightforward answer to that. So as a compliance person, the gold standard certification now that is in high demand is the CAMS certification. That is the Certified Anti-Money Laundering Specialist. So as a compliance person, if you can have this certification, it gives you an edge. So every employer wants to talk to you. So I think if you can go for the CAMS certification, it will boost you in a lot of ways.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Bayomi, you are next with your question. Your time starts now. Is he still there?
Yes. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Fuad talked about financial modeling. So I actually want to ask, of what potential does financial modeling has in terms of securing a job? That is one, because I've been hearing since the time of COVID-19.
It wasn't Fuad that talked about.
Hello. Okay, Mr.
Mr.
Sorry.
Bayomi, it was Mr. Salami who did. Fuad is shocked right now.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon, please. Mr. Salami, rather. So since the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic, I've been hearing financial model. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm very versatile at financial modeling. But to what connectivity does financial modeling has to securing a job, one, as a professional? Now, secondly, Mr. The second speaker, rather. So this question goes to you.
I know the person. Just ask the question. I know the person.
Yeah. So you talked about, you wanted to mention the future jobs as it is.
No one to mention.
I actually want. Hello. So
I can hear you.
Yes, because as I am right now, I recently attended an interview. Because of my CV on YouTube, I've been able to train myself on SQL. I have various training on YouTube, because when in my workplace, I was actually not being paid. I was not sent, and I decided to wait back. I'm only just trying to, please pardon me, the host. I want you to pardon me. Let's share this little quickly. Now, I stayed at home for 2 months. Do you know what happened? I was not sacked. I never resigned, but my salary was stopped. But they kept begging me to come, but without pay. Now, as it is right now, it's a media company. I stopped going, but they kept begging. Now, I have all these skill sets. That was why I think they want to tap her, but they never wanted to pay. It's a pity. I really don't know how to reconcile these questions. I actually want either of Mr. Salami or the second speaker to let us really understand. Okay, if I go into any training, how does it connect with my job search? That is one. Now, to be specific, we talked about financial modeling. I'm very versatile.
Okay, so
yes. What is the connectivity? Okay. I'm a consultant, I'm a financial analyst. What is the connectivity to securing a job at this moment? Thank you so much.
Okay, so Mr. Sekiru, and then when Mr. Sekiru is done, I think the second part is for Safi. I believe the second part is for you about connecting new skills with jobs. A lot of people, and this is one, every time I think of it, I think of Mr. Salami, because he told me that I will literally have become jobless because everybody is doing free training. Of course, that is not true, but I just kept quiet to my chest and I was afraid that I'm going to be hungry and move to his house since his wife is a cooking person. But here's the thing, a lot of people have spent so much time on YouTube, so much time on Coursera, picking new skills. In fact, people have done things that they don't have an idea why they're doing it. So what are they going to do with it when job search come? How should they put it on? Because I would hate to employ somebody who has 30 new skills that I don't want. So okay. When Mr. Salami is done with his, the question on something I did on YouTube, please pick it up, okay? Thank you.
Okay, you see, one of the things people usually say about MMC is that you guys, you always want to teach us this, teach us that, new skills, you want to introduce a sort of masterclass. But at the end of the day, we have all these skills, what should we do with them? The skills, the more skills you have, the more leverage you have in the marketplace. Look, it's one thing to know where the opportunities are. It's another thing to be well prepared for the opportunity. You acquiring skills, whether data analytics, whether financial modeling, these are skills that are, these are marketable skills that we all need. The fact that you've not been able to use them or you've not got market for them, I mean, the market has not located you, doesn't mean that the market is not there. So the fact that you have a whole lot of skills that you don't know what to do with them, I'm saying it again, doesn't mean that there's no market for you, doesn't mean the opportunity is not there. It's about how do you push out what you have? How marketable are you yourself? You know, it's one thing to have all the requirements of the market. It's another thing, do you even have a personal brand? Use against me is that I'm an execution person, I get things done, but I'm not very tidy. It's fine. It's a good observation, right? So that tells you that an idea of personal branding. I am known for getting things done, right? So people in your network, in your very immediate network, what is so special about you to them? What perception do they have about you? What's your personal brand? So look, all these skills will get you a job because companies need them. The point is are you able to connect to those opportunities? And I have few ideas, and I'm going to share them with you. Because typically in times of crisis, situation even gets worse. Number one, you don't get the opportunity, there's kind of hopelessness, yes, like I said the other time, but you can get a lot of things done. You can connect yourself to that opportunity. Let me give you a few ideas. Number one, you need to leverage on your network. Look, if you have, who are the people who are the people in your network to start with? Let me tell you a story. When I was in SS3, when I was in SS2, in fact, I began reading to pass in SS2. I never knew one needed to read to pass. How I got there, I didn't even know. But the point I'm making is, when I started going to lessons in SS3, in SS2, I saw the need to change my friends. So I stopped staying in my commercial class. I started staying in science class where people actually read. The point I'm trying to make here is that if you have a network of friends who are not helping your life, who don't inspire you, who don't share opportunity with you, or they don't even need to share opportunity with you. But the point is, You must network with, you must be in the network of people that inspire you, that you can look up to. But if everyone is hopeless in your network, then you have a problem. Once you realize that none of you is inspiring another, then change your network. Because
okay, so how does he use his financial modeling stuff to? What can you give him right now for his financial modeling certificate?
the point I'm making is the skill is highly marketable. But the point is, he's not able to connect to where the opportunities are.
Position.
One way, positioning, thank you, that's the word I've been looking for, is positioning. It's not for lack of skill, you have the skill. It's not for lack of market. It's not like the market for the skill is not there, but you are not well positioned to get to the market. And one easier way to get there is networking. Who are the people in your network? What do they know about you? Do they know you even have the skill?
I think that a lot of people have this problem because somebody does say, Mr. Salami did this and he got a job because of it. They go and do it. There's no, like Fuad said earlier, research. Where is it needed? Where are the people who get me there? These are questions that you ask before you even start. I think a lot of us are just swallowing skills. I'm like, okay, like you said, it's okay to swallow the skills, but people are not researching. And this is probably the same problem we've had since the beginning of time in this country. People just show up for courses and do stuff, acquire certificates because everybody's doing masters after BSc now. I'm going for it. And after masters, there's no job. Oh, why am I waiting at home? I'm starting a PhD. And then I personally met somebody who had a PhD certificate and I asked, oh, so what can you do now? Let's talk about something that you can do with this skill. And she said, I don't know, except lecturing, I don't know. Like you literally spent at least 6 years postgraduate in school and you didn't know what you can do with it except lecturing. What is the skill that you acquire that you intend to teach through lecturing? And it's just lecturing. I'm sorry. I can't remember what I did with that person, but it's been 3 months since we've spoken. And I find it very, I'm trying to be nice really, but I think a lot of people are just picking skills and they don't know how to leverage. One of the questions I would think anyone would do with a postgraduate course is to ask, is to be aware on the leverage they want to use with it. I'm not a fan of get the course first before you think of leverage. And this is a world where...
In fairness though, look, get as many skills.
Mr. Abayami, you cannot ask any question again. I'm sorry. Put it in the chat. Somebody will reply you.
See, look, get as many useful skills as possible, frankly, because you don't know where the opportunity might come from. But the point is positioning. You need another point I wanted to make. Aside positioning or trying to use people within your network, letting them know what skill you have. I have seen instances, not once, not twice, people connect to you or you connect to people and they give you their card. Do you follow up? You don't even follow up. You only follow up only when you need them. That's another an important point. If I give you my contact or you contact me and we vibe well, you don't call me or you don't get back to me only when you need me. Do you even just say, hey, I just say to say hi. I just called to say Salam alaikum. I just called to ask about your family. How are you doing? Hope COVID-19 is not affecting you and your family. Hope you're safe. All those little things matters. Do you follow up when you've connected to people? Because this is how you get opportunity. This is how people get to become known to you and they will be willing to help. So another point I want to say is, look, you need to have a personal brand. A lot of us are lost in action. We lack identity, and that's a major problem. That is why, look, I once said it. If you are based in Ilorin and nothing is happening there, relocate to Lagos. If you have a friend here, stay with him. Go out there and do something. Don't get lost in the wilderness. If you are in Osun State and everything is hopeless,
okay,
relocate.
Offense taken.
I'm sorry. It's not about offense. I'm just, a lot of people have no identity.
You have used up your time. The moment you mention Lauren, you have used up your time. We move on to Safi. Miss Peters, could you pick it up from there?
Okay,
I have skills
thank you.
I want to put on my CV. How do I leverage on them?
Okay, thank you. So I know he mentioned something about picking up so many skills. Now, that is the problem. It is already a problem that you're trying to pick A, B, C, D, E, F, and G skills. No. Now, before you take a course, understand why do I want to take this course? Have a purpose, right? They say that the purpose of life is a life of purpose. Have a purpose for wanting to sign up for that course. First of all, it enables you to follow it through, right? Number one. Number two, then you can be sure that it is going to be relevant. Whatever skills you're taking should be relevant to the career path that you are on, right? Or like Fuad said earlier, global skills that you know. So during the pandemic, I've gone from being a recruiter to a trainer, to a content creator, to an internal communications person within the company. Now I'm working on customer engagement. I am working on a lot of things. Why? Because I have these relevant skills. So number one, ensure that the skills, the courses you are taking, because there's something they call information overload. You see, when you have too many things, you won't do anything useful with one of them, right? It's just like embarking on 6-10 projects at the same time. When you can decide to do one or two with a proper timeline, and then achieve your goals as you go, you realize that in 10 months, if you pick a project for each course, for each month, you have done 10 projects successfully. But if you pick 10 projects for 1 month, you have done none successfully by the end of the month. So I feel, from my perspective as an HR person, understand the reason why you are taking these courses, because you do not want to just gather information that you cannot use, and it adds to your frustration. Oh, I have this, I have that, I have this, I can't use it. That's one. Number two, the final one on this question is this: have the ability to communicate the value. Now, the reason why you are taking courses is so that you can create value, right? If you don't even know why you're taking the course, you can't understand the kind of value you're looking to create. That's one. Now, when you've identified that this is the value I want to create, and these are the courses I need to take to be able to do better at this, you must have the ability to communicate this value appropriately. It means that you can represent these skills very well on your CV, in your cover letter, on your social media pages. I'll give you an example. I'm really big on my use of social media. So Instagram, LinkedIn, if you go on my Instagram, you don't need anybody to tell you that I'm a good writer and I'm a great speaker. You don't need anybody to tell you. That is personal branding, right? That aside, so you need to understand why you are doing it, understand the value that you want to create, and have the ability to communicate that value. So when you go for an interview, you can say, oh, I took a course, a PR course, and this is what I understand by it. And even though I have not been able to do any practical work in a company, this is the knowledge that I have, and this is how I can apply it. And this is the relevance of the skill that I have in this time, right? So it's really important. Gather whatever relevant skills, have a reason, have a purpose. Then you'd have the ability to communicate that value with your personal marketing tools, on your social media, and in an interview when you eventually get invited. Thank you.
Okay, so before you go, somebody is asking that apparently the jobs are available as sales reps, sales executives, and they are in insurance companies, and since they are not paying, is it okay to turn them down, or what would you advise?
So, I mean, just this past week, I think on Friday, someone walked into my office and said, you know what, I want to recruit freelance salespeople. See, let me tell you the truth about the job market these days. Nobody wants to hire anybody to sit down, and whether you're working or you're not working, you're getting paid at the end of the month. See, even people that have been able to keep their jobs in this time are doing times 3, times 4 of what they used to do before. The workload is crazy. Why? We need to be sure that you are earning this money. So if we're not even cutting your salary, are you earning the money? So you have a lot of people who want to hire, and they're telling you, I'm not going to pay you 150K just like that. Okay, I can do you a base pay of 50, 60K, but you have to earn the remaining for the month, right? You have to earn your commission. So you're seeing, especially when it comes to sales, you're seeing a lot of commission-based, jobs that are in sales. So I think a lot of people have this negative thoughts about sales and how, you know, I don't want to do sales and it's understandable because it can be stressful, right? But if you know that you want to venture into that, you need to straighten your muscle and really know that you have work to do, because you have to be able to deliver. The key word these days is to deliver. If you're not delivering, they will dust you off. If you cannot even deliver, you cannot even get the job, right? So it's really important that you're able to deliver on that job. So even if you're looking at sales, if you know you can deliver, then it won't be a problem. But you know you definitely get paid for the work that you're putting in.
Okay, thank you. So it's about delivering. So this is the final question because we should be rounding up by now. And I don't see any questions. Fuad, thank you so much for answering all the questions in chat. If you still have a question, you can tag the speaker and ask it. If they can't, they'll drop it. So the final question is, there are jobs, right? So if I didn't have a job right now, what advice would you have for somebody who wants a job, or somebody who wants to change jobs, or somebody who wants to move on, or I'm tired of, this may be the worst time to ask for a promotion. Abi, editor, I want to be promoted. Or really, is it the worst time to ask for a promotion right now? Because of course it may come with some condition of we're not going to increase your salary, we're just going to increase your workload. But at least I get to wear the tag of assistant editor-in-chief or something. So what are the key, I think that when I put all the questions together, it boils down to what are the key skills, soft, hard, character traits, if anything, what are the things that we need to embody or become or learn to give us leverage despite the crisis at hand? So this is for everyone on the panel, and we can round this up when you're done. So, Mr. Ozak, are you still there?
Okay, yeah, I'm here. Okay. Yeah, and I think my village people has prevented my video from coming. So,
the village people are MTN, and on behalf of all the MTN customers, I don't know what to say. Sophia, okay. I thought you wanted to answer the question. Okay, so Mr. Ozak, please pick it up.
I just want to contribute one or two things to that question. So that's a very beautiful question to ask, especially, you know, at this time when, you know, people are losing jobs and salary are getting slashed. But the truth is, regardless of whatever it is that may have led to, you know, desperately needing a job, I think there are two choices in this situation. So number one is to either allow the situation dictate your outcome, or maybe secondly, just take the reins of your life and create a path through for yourself. So I know this is easier said than done, but the truth is, if you need a job, definitely you probably need to get back on your feet. So my advice will be that, number one, of course, whatever situation we are in is temporary. So unemployment as well is temporary for me. So it's something, just the same way we can say COVID-19 is temporary, it will come and go. So know that it is temporary. Then I think it's not a bad idea if one can pick up a new career path at this point, because I feel except you are one Omo Babaolo, you probably need money to even actualize your plans. Yes, so you need something to keep you going. You need to eat. You need to have a roof on top of your head. You probably need money to feed your family and all of that. So it's not going to be a bad idea if you pick up a new career path at this point. Just be open to whatever opportunities comes your way. Of course, I'm not saying just take anything. Of course, you need to also, you know, assess it to see if it's worth your while. But I'm saying if you've been a compliance professional, you know, for example, and you have an opportunity, a job that will pay you, and it's saying, okay, maybe just do sales for some time. I don't think that would be a bad idea, because it doesn't prevent you from getting back to your chosen, you know, to your chosen path much later. By the time all these things are gone. So I think this is not a time for anyone to be picky. And it won't be a bad idea to choose something new. And of course, it will be good to also explore all networking channels. I know that has been said about networking at this time. It is very, very important to stay in touch with people. Even if you have someone, they may not get to remember you even if opportunities arise. But if you keep in touch, you know, you throw yourself at their faces every now and then. When opportunities come, you know, it will be very easy for them to remember you and call you. So that's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Safi. Please pick it up.
Okay, for me, I mean, all of the major points have been made, from upskilling yourself to personal branding to, making good use of your social capital. And one more thing I would mention as it concerns your social capital, what I mean is the people that, people in your network is, don't just be the kind of person who, you only show up in their lives when you need something. Excuse me, sir. So when they see your call, they know that, February in color, like Mr. Sikiru Salami rightly said. You want to be able to be in people's spaces, even when you look up to them, or you look up to them for certain kinds of assistance or whatever. You are able to also give, right? No matter what it is, you can give. So when they are working on a project, you can volunteer to help out with it, or to work on the social media team or something. But don't just be there, waiting for the time that you will need their help before you text or call or communicate with them. That's important. Lastly, from me, I want to say this on education. Someone said something about education, that about the Nigerian educational system. Trust me, if you are still depending on the Nigerian educational system to upgrade yourself, you are on a long thing. Why? Because it's not going to do anything for you. So I like to tell people, educate yourself, right? But educate yourself with direction. What do you want to do? Where are you looking at? Even if you're changing your career path, okay, what's the new deal for you? And how can you start? Now, use LinkedIn as well. Connect with people, right? That's why it's good to have a good LinkedIn profile. If somebody random just text me and your LinkedIn profile is looking very shabby and very, I'm like, okay, like, are you serious? Are you being serious right now? But your LinkedIn profile is good, and then you can contact certain people and say, I'm looking to get advice on this and on that. Would you be able to spare some time to talk to me? That's different from, can I speak with you? Somebody texted me one day and said, can I have your number? I want to talk to you on phone. I don't know you from anywhere. I'm just supposed to drop my number like that. So the approach is also very, very important. Absolutely important. Ultimately, educate yourself to get to where you want. Don't depend on the course that you did or what your lecturers taught you in school. Our lecturers are wonderful people, but move beyond that to educate yourself. Lastly, sorry, somebody asked me a question privately. It said, what advice do you have for small business owners who sometimes cut down staff salaries without recourse to the employment contract, and all of that? I think he couldn't post it generally. So I think there's this clause that is called, actually, I don't think anybody should just cut people's salaries like that, unless, in times like this, there's a crisis. People are cutting salaries everywhere. It's happening everywhere. But there's this clause that can be included in people's employment contract. It's called the force majeure. It allows you to be able to either terminate contracts, or maybe you can't really meet up with the provisions of the contract because there is a crisis or a war, circumstances beyond your control. As a business owner, you might want to have that in your contract, your employment contract. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. On the question of cutting people's, I don't know. I think a lot of people got the memo. A lot of companies sent out memos. Even I, as a business person, sent out a memo. I sent email, sent text message, sent WhatsApp, because I don't want anybody to think it's over.
Communication is very key. And if your staff should sue you like this, you can pay hundreds of thousands or even millions of naira to that person. To take legal actions, because people are becoming more aware. Employees are becoming more aware of their rights, right? So you can't just cut people's salaries or cut people off. They're going to take legal actions against you, especially if there was no adequate communication with that person. There was no, that understanding wasn't there initially. You just did it because, you feel like you can do it. So, yes.
Thank you. Somebody is asking for my LinkedIn. It's just my name, Mutiat Olagoki. That's it. Fuad, what's your take on my question?
I think a mental model I approach it with always is curiosity and discontent. It's like it's constantly being dissatisfied with wherever you are, right? You can be content with how far you've come, but never be satisfied where you are. And the next question is where the curiosity kicks in is now asking that, okay, I'm trying to do X. Who are all the people doing X? Who are the best people doing X currently? What can I learn from the best people doing X currently? Where are the best places to do X, right? Curiosity and discontent. I need to curiosity and content. Curiosity and discontent. So it's like, it's that continuous drive to just be better. I really do not know any other hack, and because of this content, it's like you're trapped in a house that is burning, right? You don't sit down and wait for the first one burning you, right? You scratch, you claw at the wall, you will try to break the burglary, you will try everything, and something might just crack, right? So that's all of it for me. Curiosity and content.
So curiosity is key. Curiosity is key. Okay, Mr. Salami, we are talking about curiosity and discontent. Thank you. We're talking. The question was if there's anything whether it's a character trait or a skill that one needs right now in this crisis to keep a job, get a promotion. What would you think it is for you?
Just 2 words. I would say show up.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, this is a time to show that you're there. This is not the time to be lost in action. This is a time to show that you're relevant. You see, at a time like this, especially for those that have a job, but if you have a job, at a time like this, employers are desperate. Employers they are ready to let go of anyone. They are just desperate. So, and at a time like this, no one cares about anything. They will fire you and nothing will happen because everyone is emotional. So this is the time to show that you are important. This is the time to pull your weight. If you're given an assignment, this is the time to make sure you get it done within timeline. This is the time to just prove that you are there. If you are just absent, the company has a problem, you have no idea, you have no initiative, you have no contribution, there's a time they will see that. Look, let me give you an example. During the lockdown, someone fired his HR, they fired his legal people. You know why? He said, it is now during this crisis I realized I don't actually need them. Why? Because they were in action. Every other person is thinking, the finance guy are thinking, okay, our finances are going bad. This is what we can do. The only thing that matters to him at that point in time was, okay, who are the people relevant to this business, as it were? Because it's during the time of crisis that you get to see the true. They got fired. Of course, he did what he needed to do. But the truth of the matter is, at a time like this, if you have a job, there's a time to pull your weight. There's a time to show up. If you don't have a job, I understand that things are going to be tougher now because people are not even hiring as before. So this is a time to prepare for your next opportunity. You might say, okay, I now have the skill. This is the time to connect. This is the time to show up. This is the time to let me know that you even have the skill. If you have it and you stay right there in your corridor or in your corner, and you are there lamenting, complaining, I won't know now. If you don't speak up, how will I know you have this skill? Yeah. So this is the job. This is the look, and don't have shame. Don't try to feel ashamed telling the world this is the skill you have.
Don't be ashamed to sell yourself.
Get my point?
Don't be ashamed to.
Thank you.
Don't be ashamed to sell yourself. Blow your trumpet. Thank you, Fuad. And thank you so much, Mr. Salami. Fuad said he employed a 19-year-old this week. Mr. Salami said show up. And I'm going to say that on my team, I employed a 17-year-old because the moment it hits, I realized that my staff that were teaching in school would either not have a job or we need to take their job online. And everybody has a page that they are dealing with. And by the end of evaluation last month, I realized that my 17-year-old intern, in fact, by the end of the first month, my 17-year-old intern deserved salary more than every other person. Like, I wasn't going to pay her. She's an intern. I was just going to give her stipend. But I thought, what? It's not going to be fair to pay these people because the only reason they would deserve the job, the money, would be because they are hardcore staff or permanent staff. So the girl became a staff at 17, and she's the one in charge of WhatsApp. Last week, she took us through the new trends on Instagram. So because she's active on Twitter, she's active on stuff, she knows stuff that the 20-something-year-old people on my team apparently refuse to go and learn. So yes, show up. And if I'm going to close this with my tip, somebody asked that I should teach something on elevator pitch. So I will pick up from showing up and pick up from what Fuad said about selling yourself, loud yourself, whatever name you call it. Show up for yourself. Show up, not just show up there and say, they say I should come, I'm here. It's not just about doing the work at the time alone. You need to sell yourself. You need to let everybody know that you're doing it, because now there's no boss. A lot of us are working remotely and nobody really knows what you're doing at home. So there will be a lot of you having to explain. You cannot be humble and say, I don't like to talk about myself. As much as I don't want anybody coming to the meeting bragging about stuff, I also don't think you should come and be for me humble and say, don't let me tell them I did it fisabilillah, I want Allah to reward me. This is the new normal. This is the new normal. If you do not sell yourself, that's how all of us will leave you alone. No? Because let me tell you one of the things this girl does that just swell my head. She will do what I asked her to do. Through the process of doing it, she would send email, she will come inbox to ask me specifically, this is what I intend to do. She's the one whose content calendar is up to par. While she's coming up with her content calendar, she's coming with ideas of things I did not send her. On my own page, that is my personal Muslima Speaks page, she's telling me, Miss Mutiat, I think you can do this and this and this. I'm like, who sent you? If I now give all of them assignments, she's the one that will ask me 24 hours before the time, how far we did, and that thing you told us. And at one point I said, I'm going to sell this company to you because apparently you seem to know how to make it work. So she's showing up, she's doing her work, and then she's doing extra, she's being visible. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. She's being visible. You need to sell yourself. You need to show up for yourself. Somebody came and told me a few weeks during Ramadan, because I was doing content for Bodimon and some people, and then she says, you are inviting everybody to the program. You don't even invite me. I told you I want to do what you're doing. Why don't you show me the way? I said, I can't show you the way. Did you not see this on my status? She said, I don't check status. Did you see it on my Facebook? I'm not a Facebook person. Did you see it on Instagram? I don't really use Instagram like that. It's data. And I'm like, where exactly are you? Where do you show up for yourself? Where do you show up for yourself? You are not on status. You are not on WhatsApp. Somebody will send you a message 2 days, you have not replied, and then you're wondering why you're jobless. You're wondering why people are getting jobs and you are not getting it. And I don't know if this is peculiar to Muslims or peculiar to sisters, but if this is you, all those people that are saying shot has been fired, table has been broken, if you're on this table, please get it off. Get it off. This our selling yourselves versus ayah is a limiting belief that we can start an entire conference on. We are in a time, we are in the era of information. We've gone beyond, can they see that I'm doing it? Nobody's seeing anybody. We only see the people right in front of our faces. If you're not going to show up for yourself, then why should I have you? Why should I choose you? And this is what I told the sister. You're not showing up for yourself on status. You're not selling yourself in the simplest way. And then I should bring you on my platform so that you will not show up. How am I so sure that the day I call you, you will not say something happened to your network? I can't trust you if you're not showing up for yourself. So if you're not selling yourself, we can't trust you to come and sell us. So you need to show up. You need to advertise yourself. You need to speak up for yourself. You need to, don't be saying, hey, my uncle knows that I am a data analyst. Why didn't he get your job? Go ask him. Go and ask him for it. I asked people on my status yesterday, why have you not bought what I'm selling? People were laughing. Muti, are you that desperate for sales? And I told them, yes. If I don't sell, I'm not in business. And let me tell you, that funny 30 seconds video has gotten me more money in less than 24 hours than I made in a week, because I need to do everything. So you already bought from me. You need to show up. So somebody asked for tip on how to do elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is simple. It's the same way on how to communicate on anything. Anything, basically. You must remember that value comes first. Value goes, when you are selling yourself, don't just say that I have these skills. What can that skill bring to the table? What value can it add to my company? So my name is Mutiat. I can teach you how to speak, to be a better public speaker. Oh, so Fuad is an amazing content person, but I can make him a motivational speaker, and he will be saying aspire, acquire, require for a living, and be bringing in $2,000 every gig. Do you want that or not? Fuad, that's what I offer you.
Yeah, I want dollars. It's dollars I'm looking for. Like
$2,000 per gig. I can teach you to do public speaking, and you would be legitimately worth at least, not even at least $2,000 for a 1 hour gig.
Help me.
See, he said I should help him. That's an elevator pitch. If I told him, Fuad, I can teach you public speaking so that you can be talking, you probably look at me like, what would you say? Like, I don't need it. You don't need it. You say, no, I don't need it. I'm a writer. What do I want to do with public speaking? But the moment I put the value that I will bring to him, he's already begging in humility. Help me. That's an elevator pitch. Dollars me. An elevator pitch is you need to recognize. So let me finish this quickly. For you to come up with an elevator pitch for yourself, you must recognize who your audience is. What is their pain points? Dollars is all of our pain points. So what is their pain point, and how can you solve that problem? How can you solve that problem? Nobody wants to know that you went to prestigious University of Lagos. Everybody in their family went to prestigious University of Lagos. They are still living in Mushi. So how do you get me to Banana Island?
I'm not going to take that. Like people are well represented. Thank you.
Okay, ma. Sorry, sir. How is that going to buy me a house in Banana Island? Okay, so seriously, so don't come, when you're doing an elevator pitch, you only have about 30 seconds or 1 minute max. And so focus on your audience. It is about them, not you. We're so Nigerian in a way that we talk mostly about ourselves. Me, I'm Mutiat, I'm the queen of awesomeness, I'm the best speaker. I can talk on anything. If you wake me up like this, I can talk. Your audience is wondering, how does that concern me? A lot of times when we communicate, we think selling yourself means telling them about you. No, telling them what value you will bring to them, because the audience doesn't care about you. The audience care about themselves. So if you have 30 seconds to sell yourself, focus on what you can sell, what value you can bring to the table. Yes, Mr. Liu, I'm a microbiologist turned public speaker. Communication expert, really. And I don't call myself a microbiologist because I don't have any value to offer you with that certificate. So that's that. I think I've been able to clearly say, E. coli. I think I've been able to clearly say how to do it. So a good thing is to remember your audience, what are their pain points. Dangote has a pain point. All these skills that all of us are learning now, what value does it bring to people? So it's going to be unfortunate if you have a skill that you've learned because skill is now metactor cover now, but you can't sell it. So whatever certificate, bring out all your Coursera certificate and keep asking yourself, what value can it add to people's lives? What value can it bring? What can you sell to Safi that will make us say, oh, you were the one they were asking last week? Don't just come be, my name is Mutiat, I have a second degree in this, in education, a business certificate. What can you do? What value can you bring to the table? That's what your audience care about. That's how to write an elevator pitch. That's the only thing you should be saying. Your name, the value you can bring. What else? That's it. I believe before we close this, as what I've said, does anybody have anything they want to add, remove, closing?
And I drop
Okay,
my
so
account number.
No, don't bring your account number. I think that you should register for class. That I should send you my account number. Okay, so Jazakumullah khairan, everyone.
I said, do give away, do give away.
Do give away.
Um,
I literally just gave a class that I get paid for to you now. And you do give away. Which another giveaway do you want to give? Do you want to collect my firstborn child? Okay, I pray that Allah in His infinite mercy bless this knowledge for us. No matter how hard things are, the help of Allah is near, and may we find it in all our endeavors. I would say that this time may be trying, and it is trying. I particularly cried the first weekend of the lockdown. Like, I busted into tears, I cried, and then my business advisor called me and said, please, why are you crying? Why are you crying? You need to, it's a new situation, sit down and think about how you can cope. And mashallah, alhamdulillah, I've done more giveaways in this lockdown than I have done before the lockdown. So I would say that it hasn't been bad for me. And it's not because I'm special or I'm doing anything special. It's just that you think and come up with new solutions to new problems. And at the bottom of it, you put everything with Allah. Allah will suffice you. If you continue to do, if you took half of the advice that we're giving today alone, Allah will suffice you. Will suffice you. Just calm down. Calm down. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. Allah will definitely not put a burden that is beyond you on you. So whatever it is you're going through, because we don't know what you're going through wherever you are in the world, but whatever it is, the moment you come into the awareness that this is not beyond you, you will start to see the solutions that will take you out of it. May Allah ease all of our fears. Jazakumullah all the speakers, Mr. Salah session. We hope to call you back next time. Hopefully you come with giveaways.
Yes, we'll come with many airtime and data.
You, use your network that is not working. By the way, somebody said that maybe you should update your Zoom. It could be why you are having technical issues.
I'll check
I don't know if you saw that, so maybe you should update.
Yes, I saw it.
Okay, so thank you so much, Zainab. Okay, so subhanaka lahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. We'll see you next time. Be good. May Allah ease your affairs. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.